Alright, howdy y'all. Welcome back to the Project Princess. A couple weeks ago, I posted a short asking if I should make either a flowy skirt that was long and tiered, or if I should make a denim dress. And y'all decided and said that I should make the long flowy skirt, so that's what we're doing this week. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like what you see. Alright, so the first thing I did is I went shopping for fabric in my favorite place to get fabric, which is literally my basement. And this is the fabric I decided to go with. It was nice and flowy and a pretty color, which I think would be super fun to use in a skirt. Then I laid my fabric out and folded it and cut out a small half circle skirt, and I used the circle skirt calculator to calculate how big the radius should be to fit the circumference of my waist. Then for the rest of the skirt, I just cut out a bunch of long 15-inch rectangles that I would later gather into long ruffles. And throughout this whole process, I wasn't being super exact. I was just kind of going off of vibes. I knew that I was going to need a lot of ruffles that were this length, so I just cut out as much as I could out of the fabric I had. Then I sewed the strips together, and I'm not really sure what length they were. The biggest thing is just to have them be at least 50% longer than the previous tier was. That way, so you can have some gather and some flow to it. And it's also important to remember that when you're sewing on light fabric like this, you should use a lot smaller, finer needle. I was not, and my thread kept breaking until eventually I gave in and went to the store and got new thread. And this is me pinning that ruffle to the bottom of my circle skirt, and then I just sewed it in place. After I'd done the first tier, I gathered the second tier and then also sewed that onto the bottom of the second tier. After I'd done both of those, here's a pretty bad shot of what it looked like. There was this little snag catch fold thing that I had to fix, but otherwise I was kind of happy with how it was turning out. I decided that I wanted the skirt just a little longer, so I decided to use this last little bit of fabric I had and cut it into a long strip and then cut it down the middle to make just one really long, skinny piece of fabric. Then I sewed those two long strips together and gathered them. This project had so much gathering. It was kind of insane. It took so long to gather everything, but that's okay because it was cute and I liked how it turned out, so makes it worth it, right? Okay, so once I had sewn that ruffle to the last tier, I measured it and found out that it was actually too long for me. So I just cut the extra fabric off of the top of the skirt actually, and then I just gathered the top of the skirt so it would continue adding some more flow and volume to my skirt. After that, I cut out a waistband and some interfacing to give it some structure. And I ironed the interfacing onto the skirt. Then, like I said earlier, the skirt, like the waist was too big for me, so I just gathered the top edge of our little half circle skirt just a tiny bit so that it would properly fit my waist. And then I sewed one side of the waistband to the top of my skirt. And then I didn't really feel like explaining how to put a zipper in, so I just did this transition instead. And so yeah, you put a zipper in. And since I was kind of just winging this project, there were some spots that didn't really line up in the back. So instead of fixing that, I decided to just make a little tie to go around the waistband out of the extra fabric that I had, just some scraps. And so I made two little triangles and made sure that their edges were nice and clean and sewed them to a large rectangle. And then I just folded them in half and sewed them together so that it made a big long tube. And then I just used I did not use a safety pin, I just turned it inside out. And I left a little gap in the middle so that I could turn it inside out from either side. And with that, my skirt was finished. I think it was so cute. I enjoyed wearing it. I went on a little creek photo shoot with one of my friends, and it was a lot of fun to wear the skirt for that photo shoot. And it's so fun to run around and pretend like you're a princess prancing through a meadow, or in this case, a pile of rocks next to a creek. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you check out the rest of my channel and my Etsy shop. Bye!